Alright guys, today we're going to do some fraction review. So we're just going to start with how you make a fraction and some of the vocab that we've learned. So first thing, a fraction is two numbers with a fraction bar between them like this. This is the fraction 1/2, or 1 out of 2, one part out of two parts altogether. And we have 1, this is our pieces that are shaded, or is also the better term for it is our numerator, and our 2 here are total pieces or parts, and the better term is denominator. Okay, so 1 out of 2, 1/2, numerator and denominator. Okay, so just a quick review of that. So we'll go back to the fraction 1/2. If we wanted to draw it, we could do a circle like this, and we would have two pieces like that. And remember, our pieces need to be equal. We can't do something like this. Yes, there are two pieces there. No, they are not equal. This is not how we would show the fraction 1/2. So we want to try and make them look as equal as possible, and then we just shade in one of the parts. And so we have one part shaded out of two total parts, 1/2. Okay. So let's try a fraction with something that's not 1 on the top. Let's try 3/4. Our numerator is 3, and our denominator is 4. That means we have 3 parts shaded in out of 4 total parts. So again, we can do this one pretty easily with a circle. Make our circle, and we can do it in half, and then a half again. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, and we want to shade in 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. That shows us the fraction 3/4, or 3 out of 4, our numerator and our denominator. Now, I personally like to draw fractions using rectangles. Okay. So we want to divide our rectangle into 4 equal parts. Okay. Just like that. Again, they don't need to be perfect. We just want to get the best that we can. And again, we're going to shade 3 of them because that's our numerator. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. You'll notice when I'm shading these, I'm not shading like this. I'm not just coloring in over everything like that. It's important that we're still able to see the individual parts, especially when you're coloring these and showing us these in class. So, a quick scribble, just enough to let us know that that part is shaded, is all we really need. So this is 3/4. Okay, so let's try a new fraction. We have the fraction 5/6. 5 is our numerator, 6 is our denominator. If we were to draw this fraction using a rectangle, it would look like this. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. And we would shade in 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's our fraction. Now let's talk about different fractional sizes. We have the fraction 5/6 drawn right here. Let's take a look at the fraction 3/4. Okay, we did that one earlier. 3/4. 3 is the numerator, 4 is the denominator. Let's draw that using a rectangle. I'll try and make it about the same size as the one up there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. And if we color in 3 of them, we get 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, which of these fractions is bigger? Which one has more of the whole shaded in? Hopefully you figured out that 5/6 is bigger than 3/4. You just look at the picture. 5/6 has everything except this little square shaded in, and 3/4 has this, which if our pictures were perfect, we would be able to see much more easily. But this is definitely a slightly bigger part than this that is left shaded. But I want to show you another way to test and see if a fraction is bigger or smaller. Drawing a model is great. Knowing the size of your fractions is wonderful. But as long as you know your multiplication facts, this next way should be wonderful, a great way to view it. So take these same fractions, 5/6 and 3/4, we write them next to each other. Now we're going to do something called cross multiplying, which means we're basically going to make a big X with our numbers. So we have 5/6, and we start here at the 6. We do 6, and we cross to 3, and we do 6 times 3. And if you remember multiplication facts, 6 times 3 equals 18. So we write 18 up here. Okay, another way, and then we just keep going with that. We start at the bottom over here with the 4. We do 4 times 5. If you remember your multiplication facts, 4 times 5 equals 20. And then you know 20 is greater than 18, and 20 is over this fraction, 5/6. So that fraction is greater than 3/4. I know this looks really crazy drawing it out and things like this, but as long as you remember, go from bottom to top, and your answer goes after that, just like this with your equal signs, then you'll be able to use this method for every fraction you've ever come across. Please still draw your pictures, but this can be an easy way to check and see if you're right. So let's take a look at some more fractions. Some of them, maybe they'll be surprising. Let's do 1/2 versus 1/3. Okay. First time we look at it, we say, oh, 3 is bigger than 2. That means 1/3 should be bigger. But usually, always with fractions, if the numerators are the same and the denominators are different, it's pretty easy to tell which one is bigger. It's always the one with the smaller denominator, because that means that the fractional pieces are much bigger. Okay? Or they're bigger, not much bigger. All right, so let's draw these out. Get rid of that stuff. So right here is 1/2. We'll do it as a circle. Let's do them both as a circle. So there's 2 equal parts, and we shade in one of them. Okay, let's do another circle. Try to make it about the same size. Not perfect, but pretty close. Again, please don't do this. Okay, those are not equal parts. All right, this is not how you make thirds on a circle. It's another reason why I really like rectangles for fractions. It's so easy to make any fraction. So we need to make our little piece sign now. Okay, all right. So, and then we color in one. We have 1, 2, 3 pieces. We color in one of those pieces. All right. So now we need to compare them visually, and we can tell that 1/2 is bigger, because 1/2 of this circle would go like that, and that would be that 1/3 we colored and this other piece right here that we did not color in. Okay. So 1/2 is bigger. We can tell that from our picture, from our model. If we were to draw rectangles or something like that, we'd get the same results. Or what we could do, we could also do our cross multiplication method. I'm going to write 1/3 just a little bit closer over here next to the 1/2. And we're going to cross multiply. So we do 2 times 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Remember our identity property of multiplication. And then we'll do 3 times 1 equals 3. Again, our identity property of multiplication. And we know that 3 is greater than 2, so that means the fraction on this side is greater than the fraction on this side. Okay. Again, just a good check. Still draw your pictures, still think about what each side of the fractional pieces are, but when you're on a test or you're taking, you're doing your homework or something like that, or if you want to show your parents something cool, because I think this is really cool, just kind of show them this cross multiplication piece. Okay? So far today, we have reviewed how to make fractions. We've reviewed numerator and denominator. We have reviewed equal parts, and we have reviewed comparing fractions. The very last thing I want to review today is doing fair shares. We did this last week, and we kind of struggled with it, partially because it involves sometimes doing some mixed numbers, which we haven't really talked about a lot. So, if you remember, fair shares means if we have, let me pick a better color than yellow. Blue is a pretty good brownie color, right? If we have 1, 2, 3 brownies, and we want to share them with 5 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And yes, people are circles sometimes. Okay? So we want to share them with 5 people. We need to figure out how to divide these brownies up. Because each person can't have 1 brownie, because these 2 people don't have a brownie. And that wouldn't be fair. Those aren't fair shares. Alright? So we need to divide these brownies up equally. Because we don't want this guy to get 1 whole brownie, this guy to get 1 whole brownie, and these guys to each get a third of a brownie. That doesn't work. These guys will be very angry because 1/3 of a brownie is way less than 1 whole brownie. Alright? So let's see here. We've got 5 people. So if we divide each brownie into fifths, then we should be able to separate them out. So let's try that. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, my pieces are not going to look great on this. Made my brownies a little too small. Okay? But they all have 5 pieces, and we're going to pretend that they're about equal. Okay? So that means, let me get a different color. This piece goes to this guy. This piece goes here. This piece goes here. This one goes here. And this last one goes all the way over here. So that brownie has been divided up equally. Everybody got the same amount of that brownie if we draw it right. Alright. So we'll switch back to blue here. Now we divide the second brownie up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. Second brownie has been divided. Okay. Now for the final brownie, I'm going to go some loop-de-loops here so it doesn't look like a crazy mess. Alright. So this piece is going to go over here to this guy or girl. This piece will go here. This piece will go here. This piece will go here. And this piece will go here. Now, what this means is that all of these guys get a portion of the brownie. So they each have a portion, and we already know that they each have 3 portions of whatever we divided it into. We divided each brownie into fifths. So they each have 3/5 of a brownie. And so that means another way we could show this, so this person right here would get 1, 2, 3 of these, just like that. So they'd get 3/5, and that still leaves 2/5 plus this 1/5 for the next person, and then 1, 2, 3 fifths for the next person, and then 1, 2, 3 fifths for the next person, and then 1, 2, 3 fifths for the last person. Okay. The next video will pretty much focus exclusively on fair shares. I know it can still be a little confusing, but we'll get there. For now, there is a Google quiz in Google Classroom waiting for you. It's about recognizing fractions and interpreting equal parts. So, good luck. If you have any questions, you can ask on the Google quiz in Google Classroom, or you can come see one of us. So, good luck.